I float, a solitary speck in the vastness of space. The mission, a routine Eva, had gone horribly wrong. One moment I was tethered to the ISS, the next, I was adrift, my lifeline severed. Panic set in, but training kicked in, harder breathed, conserve oxygen. Think. I remember the overwhelming silence, the cold seeping through my suit despite its insulation. Stars, distant and indifferent, blinked at me. The earth, a beautiful blue marble, rotated slowly below, a cruel reminder of what I might never return to. My family, my wife Sarah, and my son Ethan, their faces flashed in my mind. I had accepted my fate when a blinding light engulfed me. It was not the sun or any celestial body, it was something else, something unexplainable. Before I could process it, the light was gone, and so was the void of space. I felt solid ground beneath me. The shock of gravity after weightlessness made me collapse. The cool breeze, the rustling of leaves, the distant hum of cars, I knew these sensations. I was home. The familiar oak door in front of me confirmed it. I was on my doorstep. Disoriented, I struggled to my feet, my body weak from the transition. The old, creaky doorbell felt alien under my gloved finger. I pressed it, the chime echoing in the quiet night. Moments later, the door opened, and there stood Sarah, her eyes widened in disbelief, and for a second, she looked right through me, as if I were a ghost. "Sarah, it's me," I croaked, my voice barely above a whisper. The sound was strange to my ears, rough and unused. Her hand flew to her mouth. "Mark, oh, my God, Mark!" Tears welled up in her eyes as she flung herself at me, her arms wrapping around my suit, her warmth seeping through the layers. I clung to her, grounding myself in her reality. Ethan appeared behind her, his eyes wide with shock and confusion. He had grown, my little boy, now almost a teenager. "Dad," he asked tentatively, his voice breaking. "It's me, buddy," I said, reaching out. He ran to me, hugging me tightly. The three of us stood there, a tangled mess of relief, disbelief, and joy. We stumbled inside, Sarah and Ethan supporting me as I struggled to walk. The familiarity of the house hit me, the photos on the walls, the smell of Sarah's cooking lingering in the air, the worn couch where we spent countless evenings. It was surreal. Sarah helped me out of the suit, her hands trembling. I saw the toll my absence had taken on her, the dark circles under her eyes, the lines of worry etched on her face. "How?" she asked, her voice breaking. "How are you here?" I shook my head. "I don't know. One moment I was in space, and the next I was here." Ethan sat close, holding my hand as if afraid I'd disappear again. "They said you were lost," he whispered, tears streaming down his face. I said, squeezing his hand, "but I'm here now." The evening blurred into a series of emotions and explanations I couldn't provide. Neighbors and friends came by, their faces a mix of shock and joy. The news spread quickly, and soon, the media was knocking, but Sarah shielded me from it all. She knew I needed time. That night, after everyone left and Ethan was finally asleep, Sarah and I sat in the dimly lit living room, the weight of what happened pressed down on me. "I missed you so much," she said softly, her fingers tracing patterns on my arm. "I missed you, too," I replied, pulling her close. "Every moment, I thought of you and Ethan." We sat in silence, absorbing the reality. My mind kept drifting back to the moment in space, the light that brought me home. Was it a miracle, an anomaly, or something beyond our understanding? It didn't matter now. I was home, with my family, and that was all that mattered. As the first light of dawn filtered through the windows, I knew our lives would never be the same. There would be questions, investigations, and a media frenzy. But for now, in this quiet moment, I was simply grateful. Grateful for the second chance, for the warmth of home, and the love that waited for me. In the end, I learned that sometimes, the universe has a way of bringing us back to where we belong. And as I held Sarah close, I knew I was exactly where I needed to be.